Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Tom. We are starting a new chapter today, that is structural organization in animal. I am Govind Tomar. Let us start this chapter. So the chapter name is structural organization in animals. Okay everyone. So let us talk firstly that what all the things we have to cover in this chapter. So we will study this chapter into we can say in two halves. In the first half, we will talk about animal tissue, and in the second half, we have to talk about animal morphology. Animal morphology. And in the morphology, I'm sure you know that the study, will study the animal morphology here. So about some of the organisms and their external structure, their external feature, and we have to talk about some sort of anatomy also in the same chapter. So we will talk about the three animals. One will be the earthworm, and then we will talk about the cockroach, and then we will study about frog. I'm sure that you know that CBSE has rationalized the syllabus of NCERT. So in the new version of NCERT, I'm sure that if you have a new version of NCERT, then there is only frog that is given. But we will study all these three organisms. Okay. So without any ado, let us start with the animal tissue. We will talk about in a few first videos about the tissue, and then we'll talk about the animal morphology. Okay, everyone. So before I'll start with the tissue, or before I'll directly go for the tissue, let us define cell. Okay, we have to study the cell in the next chapter although, but let us define cell first. That what is cell? And I'm sure that you know the definition of cell, that it is the smallest. Cell is the smallest structural and fundamental and fundamental unit of livings or life or livings. So when we talk about cell, then it is the smallest structural and fundamental unit of the livings. We know that every one of us know, I'm sure, that cells make the tissues. Okay, so we need to define the tissue, but before I exactly jump into the tissue, let me tell you everyone that who discovered the cell. So you know that it was a Robert Hooke who observed very first time the cell, and that's why he's called as father of cytology. So Robert Hooke discovered the cell, but I'm sure you know that the cell what he observed was dead, because it was from the cork of the plant, so that was dead, okay, in 1665. And he is therefore known as father of cytology. Therefore he is called as the father of cytology. So that is the definition of cell. Okay, everyone. So, you know the hierarchical classification that cells make the tissues, tissue makes the organ makes the organ system, and then the organism, right? Okay. So, what is a tissue? If I ask you to define tissue, how would you define? Take a pause for a minute and then think about it. Okay. Let us now define tissue. So, tissue is just a group of cells. Is it like that? That a group of cell is called tissue? So exactly not. So let me define the tissue for you. So when we define tissue, we said that it is of course, a group of cells which may or may not have similar function. Which may or may not have similar function. Oh, sorry, similar origin. Yeah, my bad. I have write similar function. Okay, which may or may not have similar origin. I should write similar origin, but performs a similar function. But performs similar function. So that is called tissue. Okay, everyone. So it is a group of cells which may or may not have similar origin. Now, what do I mean by similar origin? Okay. Now, let us try to understand about it. So I said which may or may not have similar origin but perform similar function. Okay, everyone. So let's talk about it in detail. Now, origin, when I'm saying, I mean to say what is its origin? Means germ layer. Okay, so let me define it in a little, a quick. So we know that, everyone, that we are having this egg cell, right? And this egg cell fuses with the sperm cell, and then there is a formation of so-called single cell zygote. Okay, and so this zygote is single cell. This zygote undergoes cleavage. This zygote undergoes cleavage, and we are having certain stages, and such as morula. We'll talk about them in detail, or you can watch my video on human reproduction for that. The first video you can watch, of course. So cleavage will result in the formation of a stage called morula. So morula represent a solid ball of a cell. Then we are having blastula, and then blastula, or I can say that at a stage it is called blastocyst. There is something called blastocyst. For right now, for you to understand what is blastocyst is pretty much difficult. So in class 12th, when you will study about the reproduction, you will have an idea. Okay, so after the blasto, at this stage, zygote, or I should say embryo get implanted into the endometrium, and there are further change takes place, and there is a stage called gastrulation that arrives. Gastrulation, and at that stage we are having formation of germ layer. So that is primary germ layer. So at this stage, at the stage of the gastrulation or the gastrula, we are having the formation of germ layer that are ectoderm, although ectoderm last to be formed, but I have written first anyway. Then we are having mesoderm, and then we are having endoderm. Okay, everyone, and the first to be formed is the mesoderm, and then endoderm, and then mesoderm, and then ectoderm. Okay, everyone. So that is called germ layer. And germ layer, these are the germ layer that will make the tissue. So when I said that it may or may not have a similar origin, what do I mean? That a tissue may have cells which are originated from two germ layer. I mean to say certain cells are from endoderm, certain cells are from, let's say, ectoderm, or certain cells are from mesoderm. Okay, we are having certain organs which have dual origin also. Okay, when we talk about the fate of germ layer in the chapter of human reproduction, if you have watched my video, I have already uploaded them. I said that pituitary gland, let's say, if I talk about, so the anterior pituitary is derived from, yes, endoderm, and the posterior pituitary derived from ectoderm. Okay, everyone. Similarly about the certain glands such as adrenal gland. Anyway, so we'll talk about them later. So for now, you have an idea that what is germ layer. So we are having three germ layers. So a tissue has a group of cells which may or may not have a similar origin. I mean to say, a tissue may have a group of cells which may or may not have a similar origin, of course, but they need to perform a similar function. Okay, everyone. So that's good. I'm sure that you have an idea now. Okay, everyone, let us talk about, let's go ahead. So what do you think? So if I say, or if I ask to you that how many component a tissue should have, so what would you say? I'm pretty much sure that you would say that a tissue is definitely going to, made up of cells. But don't you think, everyone, don't you think about it, that in a tissue is there is only cells? We need something that can help cells to hold with each other, that help cells to adhere with each other, or we need something on which cell will lie. I mean to say, in a tissue we are having cells, and we require some kind of material that can help cells to hold together. So I have cell as a living thing, and I need something that can hold the cell. So that is probably is a non-living part. Okay, so how should I go with that? Now let me tell you in that way, that I have the two components of the tissue. I have the two component of tissue. So what are these two components? Let me explain. So the two component of a tissue can be stated as, one is the living component. So we are going to have a living component. Okay, everyone. And we are going to have a non-living component. We are going to have a non-living component. As I said, and you already know that the living component would be definitely a cell or the cells. But you can think about it, this non-living component is required, it functions to hold the cells, to hold the cells together. Okay, this is the cells together. So that would be the function of, yes, non-living component. Okay, so I mean to say we are going to have cells. Okay, we are going to have a group of cells, and we need something that can hold the cells together. So that would be a non-living substance. Okay, of course we can say it matrix or a ground substance or something else. Okay, so this non-living substance can be organic, it can be organic, or it can be inorganic. Now, when I say organic component, I'll draw the diagram, so please don't worry. In organic component, I'm going to have two things. One, I'm going to have mucopolysaccharide, and the second thing I'm going to have is the fiber or the fibers. Okay, everyone. So why do I need mucopolysaccharide in between my cells? So that is exactly is the sticky substance. Yes. So the nature of the mucopolysaccharide, most of the mucopolysaccharide is the sticky, and that is the actual substance that helps cells hold together. And one such mucopolysaccharide, and that is also the most abundant mucopolysaccharide in the body, and that is hyaluronic acid. That is hyaluronic acid. Okay, everyone. So hyaluronic acid is one of the most abundant, mucopolysaccharide within the body. So what is its function? It helps to hold the cells together. So that is one. What in fibers? So we are going to have three type of fibers. Basically, we are going to have collagen. We'll talk about them in separate. Okay. We are going to have elastin, and we are going to have reticular fiber or reticulum. We are going to have reticulum. What do you think that what is the function of these fibers? Okay, we understand about mucopolysaccharide that it helps to hold the cells together. That the mucopolysaccharide, it helps to hold the cells together. But what do you think that what would be the function of this fiber? Definitely, everyone, it provides strength. So it provides strength. That's good. So overall, now you have an idea that when we talk about the tissues, we are going to have the two things within a tissue, right? We are going to have a living component, that's the cell, and we are going to have a non-living component that helps the cells to hold together, which can be organic or inorganic. If it is organic, generally it is a sticky substance, mucopolysaccharide it has, and one such as hyaluronic acid, which is one of the most abundant in the body. And second is the fiber that provides the strength. Okay, everyone. So based upon that, let us draw a diagram that can explain this. Okay, fine. So let me explain. So let's have a boundary, a small boundary, you know, where we can study it. Okay, let's say. So this is all is the, you can say, ground substance. We'll talk about the ground substance or the matrix in the connective tissue. Don't worry. So let's say this is ground substance or a matrix. Now, in this lecture, we are just having an introduction. Make sure we're just talking certain generalized term or an introduction. Okay. So in this, we are having cells. Let's say this is a one cell, second cell, third cell. We are going to have cells. Okay. So we have cells. Let's say one, two, and we have a group of cells. So okay, fine, like that. Okay. And then we have material in between these two cells. We have these cells. Let's say these cells. Okay. So fine. And we have this is the material that is filled to in between these cells like this. Okay, So this is the living component, and that is the cells. Okay, what about the fibers that need to provide the strength? So, I use both the colors, but anyway. So we are going to have the collagen fiber, as I said. So look at this. Collagen fibers are actually unbranched fiber, but they are present in bundles. So this is like collagen, and of course they are white, but I have used the color white. Okay, so this is collagen fiber. And do you know what produces these fibers? Of course, cells. We are having a fibroblast cells. I'm not drawing here. I don't want to confuse you right now. It doesn't mean that I'll confuse you in future. No, I didn't mean that. But right now you are not supposed to know that from where it is coming. But anyway, it is coming from fibroblast. It is one of the cells. And here also we are going to have a collagen fiber. So that is unbranched, present in bundle like that. That is providing the strength. We are having elastin fiber also. That is branch. That is branch. It is yellow fiber, of course. I have drawn the yellow color, and the bad news is I have already used yellow color. Okay, this is branched, but it is present singly, as you know. So this is elastin fiber. This is elastin fiber. So overall, we are having a tissue in front of you. So in this diagram, you can see we have the cellular component, that is the cell, and we have the non-cellular substance, component, that is ground substance, we can say. Okay, so that is overall is the concept of tissue, the basic concept of the tissue. What all the tissues we have to study? So all animals have four type of tissues. So we are going to have the type of tissues right now. So I'm going to discuss types of tissue. Okay, everyone. So we will talk about the four type of tissue. We will talk about epithelial tissue. Wait. We will talk about epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue. We have to talk about the connective tissue. Then we will talk about, muscular tissue or muscles. And then we have to talk about the fourth one, that is nervous tissue. Okay, everyone. So these are the four tissues that are present in all the animals, and we have to talk about them. Okay. So from the next lecture, we will start with epithelial. But hold, everyone. Let us talk in a very generalized manner about these tissue, about their origin, and let's talk in one line about their function. So let me draw the line. Okay, so everyone, let me draw the line. Okay, everyone, so we will talk about these four type of tissues, right, in a very short note, and then we'll talk about their origin and their function. Okay, so here we'll talk about the first tissue, that is epithelial tissue. So we are going to have the epithelial tissue, and here we will study their origin, and here we will study their function in some short, of course. So in the epithelial tissue, okay, so what do you think that what can be the origin? So epithelial tissue, can be originated from ectoderm. It can be originated from mesoderm, and it can be originated from endoderm. So it has all the possible endoderm origin. If I come to the function, then it can have a diversified function. Now think about it. Suppose if I'm saying a single layer of epithelial tissue is present, just think about it. So it can help in exchange of substance. It can help in diffusion. Let us suppose we are in the alveoli. We have a pneumocytes. So what these pneumocytes are in the alveoli, suppose this is, let's say alveoli. So we have this simple single layer of epithelial, we can say. So this is epithelial. It will allow the exchange of gases. So O2 comes, CO2 goes out. So I need to say epithelial, if singly present, it can help in exchange of substance, right? Okay, just look at your palm, or look at your, of course, palm. You can see right now. So it is, made up of epithelial tissue, and the thing is, it is made up of multiple layer of the epithelial tissue. So if a many layers of epithelial tissue, suppose like that, is present, suppose it is a one layer and above it we have second layer and then we have third layer, like that. So it can help in protection also. Okay, I'm sure that you know that epithelial tissue also performs sensory function, so it has sensory part also. Apart from this, epithelial tissue help in secretion also, in your glands. Suppose if I talk about, okay, let's recall about your testis or ovary. There is a cuboidal epithelium, germinal epithelium. Although we'll talk the details that from how exactly gametes form and what is, primordial germ cell. So we'll talk about them, that they form in yolk sac and so and so. Anyway, your thyroid gland or other glands, let's say thyroid gland. So they have glandular epithelium. That is, of course, cuboidal epithelium, and that is epithelium. So it can have a function of secretion also. So it is secretory in nature. It can act as a secretory in nature cell. Okay, let's think about it, your small intestine, and I'm sure that you know that we are having microvilli cell, brush border epithelium over there. So yes, brush border epithelium, I said, and it help in absorption of these substances. So it can help in absorption also. So look at it, the function. Anyway, we'll talk about it. So next tissue would be, yes, what is it be? It is going to be connective tissue. So everyone, connective tissue is originated from mesoderm. What all is there in the connective tissue? So in the connective tissue, we are having bone, we are having blood, we are having lymph. We have a lot of things. And let me tell you, it is one of the, you know, very diverse, and it is the most abundant tissue in the body. So if I talk about which one is the most abundant tissue in the body, then answer would be connective. It has also many functions, but mainly, let's suppose, if I talk about bones. So what is the function of bones? To support the body. So it provides the support. You know, skeletal system provides support. It helps in locomotion, we can say, and certain type of connective tissue, let's say adipose tissue, help in storage of substance. Okay, so we'll talk about it exactly, but there are also many functions: support, locomotion, storage, and transportation also. If I talk in terms of blood and lymph, so they help in transportation of substances, transportation of gases. Okay, everyone, so it is mesodermal. Next, we'll talk about muscular tissue. So muscular tissue is also mesodermal in origin. Okay, everyone, so it is also mesodermal in origin. And what do you think, what the function it performs? So it help in locomotion, movement. Again, muscles help in locomotion and movement. Okay, fine. Okay, so main function is locomotion, movement. There are other function also, such as support, to support it, to support your body, and so and so. Okay, the next would be what? The next is going to be nervous tissue. Which tissue? Nervous tissue. Neurons I'm talking about. So what do you think, that what is the function of nervous tissue? The neurons. Definitely, everyone. Okay, before function, you need to know that it is ectodermal in origin. And it helps in, of course, control and coordination, sensory function it performs. So your control and coordination. Okay, everyone. So this is a short discussions about the tissue, their origin and their function. I hope you liked it, and definitely you have understood a lot. So in the next lecture, we will start the epithelial tissue, or we will start from epithelium. Everyone, if you are finding these lectures helpful, then do subscribe to the channel, do like the video and share it with your friends. Thank you very much. Let us see you in the next lecture.